All right, we're back with 701 Podcast. Today we have a good friend, Mr. Jamie Wetch. We're not going to talk about your life story today. I'm sorry. We'll have to bring you back for another one.
You know, it's a long story. Very thankful.
Today we're going to talk about our race that we co-direct together, Ottercreek 55. We got some new exciting things thanks to you this year.
We do have new exciting things.
More trail.
More trail.
Can't complain about more trail.
6.25 miles of more trail.
I rounded up to 7. It's close enough.
That's fine.
You know.
The GPS never gets it right anyway because it can't handle twists and turns.
Too many twists and turns.
That's right.
That's why there's tight and twisty.
Exactly.
So race will be June 13th. We've kind of reclaimed that second weekend in June. So, but this race has been going on for almost over a decade now. Technically speaking.
Yeah, Sunset to Sleepy to Harmon. And this is what, our 4th year at Harmon?
Oh, it was longer than that. That was 5th. So, yeah, so it started back at Sunset Park back in the early 2000s as a Race to Sunset, 12-hour mountain bike endurance festival. We moved over to Sleepy Hollow, and now Jamie solely, I give you all the credit for this, made this beautiful trail north of Mandan, all 20 miles of it now. So we have that event going on again June 13th. We do a couple different mileage options this year. It's 11, 20, and 50. Verdict's still out on that 20 if it'll stay that way. We've heard some feedback, but as of right now, that's the way it's going to stay. Yeah. So I guess what's a little history of the trail?
So in 2008, I moved out into the county and was kind of far away from any trails, and I knew a guy who served on the water board who they had this plan for this man-made lake up north of town, and I just simply asked him, "Do you guys have a plan for trail there?" He's like, yeah, we did, this engineering company did us this big master plan, and yeah, there's plans for a trail, and you know, what do you guys think? And I'm like, well, never built a trail before, but you know, we can try to figure it out. So rounded a few people up, and in 2008 we started mapping trail.
Original 11-mile loop.
9-mile loop.
9-mile loop.
Original 9-mile loop in 2008.
Yep. Myself
and the two guys who actually used to be North Dakota's IMBA reps when IMBA had the state rep program, Mark Liebig and Ron Lethe, and Ron's wife Aileen. We would head out in a overgrown Bobcat golf cart around this big pothole and started mapping trail out.
Yeah. Well, Ron's been... We used to go out and do prairie nights, and most people don't even know what prairie nights had a mountain bike course.
Yeah,
so.
You weren't going down there to gamble.
No, I didn't. That young age,
riding bike?
Yeah, we were riding bike, but yeah, Ron did a lot around this community.
The original trail that the engineers mapped out was only supposed to be about 7 miles long, but you know, any good trail design, yeah, you can look at a map to start out with, but there's just nothing the same as going out there and walking around it. So needless to say, it got a couple miles longer, but I don't think anybody's complained about that.
No, I don't think so. It is ranked as the #1 trail in North Dakota. You know, I hear opinions on that, and it varies, but you know,
keep voting. We appreciate it.
You can't argue with, you know, what's voted upon, and it's across you know, multiple trail sites. So you know, that's huge, and it's someplace I know here at the shop we send everybody to, and everybody always loves. So Epic Loop came into play.
We mapped that one out in 2013.
Sure.
And then we kind of had an idea, and actually that was you and I. You were the first person that I showed that chunk of land to after the triathlon that year, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
You were very sunburned and cooked, but I drug you out there anyway, and we took a look at this cool chunk of land out there, and it's like, yeah, what we should make another loop out there. So we figured out in 2013 Epic Loop, which ended up being 4.25 miles, and that one actually got built out in 2014. We got really lucky, and the fall of 2014 when we built, the weather was beautiful, and that trail actually got knocked out in about 6 weeks, which pretty good. But that was the first one too that we worked with Blue Sky Trail on. We've actually had 3 different builders on Harmon from the bridge, from the floating bridge to the picnic shelter was one builder, just a general contractor. He got the bid the next year in 2010. So in 2009, from the picnic shelter to the floating bridge was built. No bridge. We actually had to put a sign up that said trail ends in 100 feet because, when you have lawyers involved, they're concerned somebody might just ride into the creek. So
unfortunately, we have to put those things up nowadays.
Exactly. Yeah, we did used to have a sign down there that's actually still in the shop that says trail ends 100 feet. And then in 2010, we did from the dam down to the floating bridge, as well as put the floating bridge in 2010. And then that was a different contractor, was a landscaper, and I don't think he really knew what he was getting himself into. But then 2014 was the first time we worked with Blue Sky, and realized what a bonus it is to work with like an actual professional trail builder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's a lot less intrusive. There's a lot of times that Ron and I had to run out there and we get a call from the landscaper and he's like, I'm out of flags. Can you come give me flags? And thankfully I have a really forgiving employer because I'm like, I got to run out to the middle of nowhere and put in a bunch of pin flags in the ground, and they kind of look at you like, oh, okay. As long as nothing's broke. So Ron and I would run out there, pop some more flags in, but we kind of figured that we were willing to, to help them. Just the only thing that kind of funny, which is why it's tight and twisty, is we kind of told them, because the general contractor guy went kind of straight a little bit, and then we told this guy like, you don't want straight lines, and in some cases they got just a little overboard with it. And if you ever ride tight and twisty and you look, there's a few spots in the trail where you see like a little horseshoe offshoot that's got a bunch of rocks stacked on it. That was the original line. And so we go ride it after that, and it's like, nah.
Yeah.
We got to like, okay, in this case, you were a little too literal. Like, this is straight enough. So,
yeah. Yeah.
We fixed some of that.
You kind of got to be a mountain biker to understand that.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, and the nice thing was about having a trail builder, literally it's kind of like, yeah, I need to get from this point to this point, but can you just make it cool between it? Like, we don't have to flag every 5 feet, and then I just know it's not going to be a problem. So
yeah, and tight and twisty, for those who don't know, is on the east side of the lake. Once you cross the stock dam, it's
not the stock dam, the main dam.
The main dam,
yeah,
my
main
bad.
dam down to the floating bridge.
Yep. So that all that tight twisty, tree covered stuff, that's tight and twisty. What we're referring to there. Yeah, and the first time I met Dawn, all of a sudden you see just this little gal jump out of this dozer, and it's like, she can run that thing.
Yeah, and she will run circles. Like, anybody who kind of thinks like, yeah, there's no way, like, female, no way, she's not going to do it. No, just come watch once. I mean, when it comes to equipment, I mean, watching her run that dozer, it's just, I mean, some people can't ride a bike that smooth as she can operate a bulldozer. It's amazing when you see what that thing can do. And honestly, what's funny is, so she's done a lot of work in Colorado, and that's where she actually came from. And there's been cases where we plowed trail through the prairie where like the sod layer through that prairie is like over a foot thick.
Yeah.
And when you're running a mini dozer that's made for trail building, and this thing's like 8,000 pound, over 100 horse turbo diesel with steel tracks, and it's grunting a little bit to try to roll this sod back. I mean, they would peel up these huge rolls of just sod, and some of the guys that were working with her like actually preferred, they said, working in the rocks in Colorado than working in this prairie sod because it's so thick.
Well, and even you and I, we went and redid some trail at the MT, and we had to figure out our strategies a little differently.
Yeah, that would have taken us a while just by MT, so we ended up taking rototiller out of my tractor and tilling the line up first, and then using the MT to blade it off, because a rubber track machine just can't break through that sod.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. Well, this year, we're adding the 7 more miles of trail.
2 loops.
2 loops. Yep, so it's going to be less loopage, which is something we were after. We want to make it, more of a one-time experience.
Well, for everybody that ever did Race to Sunset, I mean, after a while,
I see Sleepy in my sleep.
Exactly. It was so bad once. I remember Pat wanted to check my timing chip, because even though there was 2 people in between my laps, I rode 3 laps with like a 40-minute layoff with the exact same time down to the second. And Pat looks at that in spreadsheet. He's like, I got to check your chip. You know, he thought something was wrong with the chip. It wasn't registering right. But, you know, you ride it over and over and over, and you get in that zone, and it just, like you say, you see it in your sleep after that.
Yeah, this last year was the first time I could ride Sunset again and not be like, ride 1 lap and be like, I'm done.
Right.
Because it's just like you do so many laps with those endurance events, it's just like, no more.
Yeah.
And Sleepy's starting to get better for me too. I don't live as close anymore, and I live closer to Sunset, so that works out for me. But yeah, I mean, other than that, we got some new, same food vendors last year, but we got a new ice cream vendor hopefully showing up, and we got the Larks are helping out again. So if you have kids and want to bring your kids out to the event, we had 150 last year.
More kids than adults.
Yeah, more kids than adults. Let's hope that goes up again.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get registered, you can head over to the 701 website. It's actually on what is now our e-commerce site. That will be our main site, but it's shop.701cyclingsport.com. And registration will go up March 1st to, I think it goes up pretty substantially. I think we're only doing 1 price bump, so get registered sooner rather than later.
And it's not going to rain this year.
It's not going to rain. We reversed the curse last year.
That's right. We reversed the curse, and
yep.
Last year actually worked out okay the way we decided to run it. But
yeah, we're running something similar this year to hopefully counteract that whole rain thing that we see.
And for anybody that hated riding it backwards last year because of that hill climb from the stock dam, yeah, well, you don't need to worry about that.
we got something in store,
right?
Yeah, and we'll be doing some trail days too. So if you're not hooked up with any of the Bismarck Mandan community trail groups, Burley County Bicycle Cult or something like that, we'll put a couple feelers out if anybody wants to come help finish some sections of trail that didn't happen because the Epic Loop got perfect weather, but the Blue Sky Trail unfortunately got rain.
Last year was not a good year to build trail. We have some stuff to finish up this spring because the year that we mapped the trail, we were in a drought year because we actually mapped this one. When was that? 2017, I think.
Yeah.
There's a year gap. There's with grant money, there's a really kind of ugly delay from when you apply for the grant, when you get the grant, when you can actually build. So that one we actually flagged in 2017.
Yeah, we had to go re-flag it again.
Yeah, I mean, basically deer do not know that pin flag shouldn't be edible.
Yeah.
And between that and, I mean, they're just not made to last for more than a winter. So half the time, we had to actually go out with GPS and be like, okay, I think we're here. Oh yeah, there's what's left of a rusty pin flag.
Yeah.
We had to reflag that whole thing. And actually then after we made some adjustments to add some more length. And if you didn't get a chance, to ride it last fall, it's ready to go this spring. We got one place we got to put a bridge in because that drought year, it's the other fun thing for people that know how Epic Loop was. The trail used to go across the top of a stock dam, and the stock dam failed last year. We got like a 15-foot sinkhole that, we put in a temporary bridge downstream, and we'll be moving that. So what we ended up doing was Epic Loop actually got a little bit longer because we routed the trail upstream of the stock dam. So if we have any problems like this in the future, or at that time we didn't know if we were going to fix the stock dam, so we ended up deciding we were going to fix it. We found some grant money to do that. But now if it happens again in the future, it won't matter because the trail will actually be on the upstream side. So Epic Loop actually went from 4.25 to right around 5 miles now. So for that, the spot where we were going to cross the stream coming into the stock dam was really dry that year and looking great. And last year, for anybody that ventured out to check it out, hopefully you didn't get your shoes and your bike stuck because it was just a mud pit.
I don't ever remember getting that much rain in the fall.
No. It's ridiculous.
No, and a lot of people don't know, I'm just going to stay on the topic of Harmon Lake, but you actually have a figure 8 that isn't very well known. I think I figured it out when I rode with you, but there's a figure 8 in the Epic Loop that you can actually revert out, and it'll take you out the same direction you were supposed to leave it.
Yep.
And it's kind of like this weird thing. I don't know if it makes more sense if you look at maps or something, but...
So if anybody wants to check out what the new trail's like, if you go out to Trail Forks, and which is pink bikes like trailsitetrailforks.com. In search of Harmon there, I've got all the GIS updated on there, so when you go out there and look, you will see the full brand new trail map of everything that we have out there, and you can see kind of all the directions, how you can ride stuff, because we got kind of these figure eights in there, so you can, come in one entrance point and figure out how you want to ride it, or if you want to shorten stuff, because there's just tons of different ways you can make the kind of mileage you want. There's like 3 ways to do 13 miles, a couple different ways to do 11 miles. There's some 15, 17, 19. So one thing I did ask, and I serve on the Morton County Water Resource District, which is the county agency that runs Harmon, which is why it's kind of made it easier for me to build trail. But I did put some money, or ask for some money in the budget last year for signage.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're actually going to put up is, at every intersection that you see, we're going to put a set of arrows that kind of points you in what direction you're going. So we've kind of, and with what's going to be on the signs, we're going to kind of stick to what people have named the Strava segments. So you'll still have tight and twisty, and fast and flowy, and epic loop. But the 2 new ones, so there's one new loop that leaves kind of out west from the stock dam. That's called Blue Sky Trail, and that is in honor of all the excellent trail that Blue Sky Trails Don Packard has built for us. And then the 1 2.25 mile loop down by the floating bridge, I decided on chutes and ladders, because no matter what direction you ride uphill, then go downhill, then ride uphill, go downhill. So it just kind of stuck in my head. So that's how the signs are going to kind of go, and we'll have these 5 sections out there. And we'll get some better signage up this year. So when you come to an intersection, like, oh, okay, if I want to go this way, it's here. Because now it looks kind of goofy, because Epic Loop is now different. You end up riding up another hill and then bombing another downhill.
Yeah.
And everybody's favorite downhill shootout from Epic Loop, when you used to cross the stock dam and just fly out. So now that's going to be a little longer and faster, because you have to climb up just a little bit of a hill on the uphill side of the stock dam. But now that downhill is even longer and faster. So. Well,
and the favorite downhill will be getting a new addition, hopefully this spring, if we can get that all situated out. But
yeah, keep an eye out for trail days. We need some help on this one.
Yeah, and you've done a ton out there, so I think anybody that rides Harmon should shake your hand over it. But it's fun, because I enjoyed when you showed me those figure eights, because then it's like you get a whole new trail experience, longer, different. So I enjoy those things, but maybe some people listening will go out and even attempt to find them before you even get them out.
Exactly.
So that'll be fun. But we'll have you back again. We'll talk more about this stuff. I know it's already getting late here, but wanted to at least get some word out about our race and what's going on, and keep people up to date. So again, if you're interested in joining the fun, it's June 13th, 2020. Race will start at 9 a.m. You can head over to shop.701cyclingsport.com to get registered, or even check out the info. Just click the link. It should take you to the registration site. And the registration fee will go up on March 1st. So if you want the best pricing, head over as soon as possible and get signed up. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
Kids race registration?
Kids race registration should be day of. The Larks take care of that. If you're not familiar with the Larks organization, they're super fun to deal with, and they do a lot of things fun for kids. So definitely, if you're not interested in racing yourself and you somehow get wind of this podcast, head over to our registration page and you kind of get the info, or follow the Larks or us on any social media, and we'll get some stuff out there. But 150 kids last year. They bring a bounce house. They bring
Clark the Lark is out there.
Clark the Lark.
Clark actually was the flag man on the races.
Yeah, that's right. Clark was, and hopefully we can get Mary Feather Lewis out there this year. We'll try for it. I'll ask John, see if we can get Mary Feather out there. Yeah, talk to a few people. We'll get it done though. Yeah, but thanks for taking the time